A low-profile 15-inch subwoofer that handles 1,000 watts RMS and does not need a lot of airspace. In fact, 1.25 cubic feet sealed per driver. Yes, you heard me right, a low-profile 15-inch subwoofer that only needs 1.25 feet of airspace. Audiomobile has done it again. Small space, big bass is what this company does best. Okay, don't go anywhere. We're going to do a full review along with an SPL test on Audiomobile's new Encore 4415 15-inch subwoofer, also known as the 4K HD. So don't go anywhere. Hey, what's up? My name is Josh. I'm with Breakers Stereo and Performance, and thanks for joining us for this review. Now, a couple months back, we hit you with the Audiomobile Evo versus the JL Audio 10TW3, both low-profile subwoofers where the Audiomobile actually outperformed the JL woofer. Now, they just introduced a few new products to the market that includes this 15-inch subwoofer that is in a category of its own. Low profile, along with small airspace requirements, Audiomobile has resolved 3 of the biggest issues when it comes to 15-inch woofers, which are big box requirements, large mounting depth, and not very accurate bass. And for those reasons, we've only sold 15-inch woofers to a very small percentage of our clients. You have to sacrifice lots of space for not so accurate bass in order to get loud, deep bass. Sounds like an SPL guy to me, but for your daily driver, not so practical. So Audiomobile has cracked the code, or have they? Now, I'm not expecting this woofer to be louder than a 1,000-watt 15-inch woofer in a vented 4 to 5 cubic foot box, which most 15-inch woofers need. But can it come close? Although the better question is, can this woofer produce deep, loud bass and still be accurate in a small box? Stay with us as we answer those questions. Now, if you never checked out our channel before and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel. We review automotive upgrade accessories, including car audio, performance, suspension, and more. Let's start off by taking a look at how this woofer is made and some of its design features. When I first looked at this woofer, I was immediately drawn to the carbon fiber cone and the pure carbon fiber dust cap. With carbon fiber being both strong and light, it makes sense to use this material. Now, there have been other companies that have utilized carbon fiber cones in the past, so this isn't a new concept, but it definitely comes at a higher cost. This is a premium woofer made with premium materials, so that falls in line. Also, it has a curvilinear cone opposed to a V-shaped cone, which most woofers have. If we look at the picture, we can see the curvilinear design in the lower image here versus the above image where there isn't a curve. Now, that curved cone makes for a stiffer cone versus the V-shape. But in a V-shaped cone, if the cone is taller, it will make it stiffer. Now, you're not going to have that luxury in a low-profile sub. That's why they use the curvilinear cone. Moving on to the voice coil. Now, we have a massive, high-powered 3-inch OFC dual voice coil that can handle up to 1,000 watts RMS on a till former. It has a powder-coated cast aluminum frame, both light and strong. Now, there's a lot of new and improved technology that went into this woofer, with the main focus being keeping the voice coil cool. And if you watched some of our videos in the past, you know that I mentioned that heat is the enemy in all mechanical things, like engine, motors, and brakes, and in car audio, heat is what makes amps fail and kills subwoofers. And at Audiomobile, they put a lot of emphasis on removing heat from their voice coil. Now, I really like what Matt from Audiomobile says about their approach to subwoofer design, which is they think of their subs as living, breathing things, and they want to keep them alive. That explains why this woofer has so many heat-reducing features. Okay, so let's talk about them. Now, the first is the iCar, intercooled aluminum radiator. You can see it here between the frame and the motor, and this is a picture of it by itself. Now, these large vents allow air to flow directly onto the voice coil, and because it's made of aluminum, it actually serves as a heat sink as well. So it's not just a few holes around the basket that let air out like most woofer manufacturers will do. It goes well beyond that. Now, the next thing is a T-shaped magnetic gap that has these super cool vents. This allows air to flow through the inside of the voice coil in a vertical motion, through these vents on the magnet into the inner coil. Combine the super cool vents that allow for north-south airflow along with the iCar that allows for horizontal east-west, plus the heatsink capability, and you have some serious heat reduction features. And the last thing we're going to be going over is the shorting rings. Now this woofer has a total of 3 shorting rings. The purpose behind these rings is control, meaning control over when the woofer starts and stops. Now that's important for accuracy. Shorting rings are normally used in professional audio, and Audiomobile uses shorting rings across their line of subwoofers. And this is the reason why they are known for their accurate sounding subs. Okay, so now let's do the test. Now we built a sealed box at exactly 1.25 cubic feet and popped it into my daughter's BMW for a week and a half so she can break it in for us. Now she has a BMW 3 Series sedan with a Memphis VIV 1100.1 that puts out 1100 watts at 1 ohm, so we're solid on power. Now, as a side note, she did have a Memphis M712 in a custom ported box tuned at 32 Hertz and is about 2.75 cubic feet, and she's already told me that this woofer plays deeper and louder than her ported enclosure, and the sound quality is much better. She also likes the fact that the box is much smaller, and she did tell me that I'm not gonna get that box back either. We'll see. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we'll take a listen to some different music. We'll start with some bass music up front, and then we'll go around the horn. We'll do some rock, we'll do some hip hop, maybe some country, and then we'll go ahead and do some test tones as well. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so I saw about 135.5 on our SPL meter. Again, a 15-inch woofer and a very small box, 1.25. Like I said earlier, of course, it's not going to be as loud as, let's say, a 1,000-watt 15-inch sub in a 4 to 5, 6 cubic foot box, but that's not what we're dealing with here. We have a sealed box, 15-inch, pretty good. What I did notice on this is we do get some nice deep bass reproduction, which is what we're looking for 15s. Now, that music that we listen to is a little sloppy, so let's tighten it up and let's take a listen to some different songs. Okay, so this type of music is perfect for a woofer like this. Okay, you have really snappy bass, and the beginning was really nice and sharp, and then later on we have some deeper bass notes come into play, and those are also deep but also accurate. All right, so again, this woofer is not for your SPL guy who just wants to be heard 2 blocks away. This is for a guy that really wants the best of both worlds. You want that really nice snappy bass when you listen to music like this, and then you also want some deeper bass when it calls for it, whether it be in the same song or in a different song. All right, so let's move on to the next song. So on this song, you have really sharp bass notes, okay? And this song is actually really enjoyable. I've heard this song using a ported box, and it's not so enjoyable. So you're hitting, it's hitting those bass notes where it needs to be. All right, so that's pretty impressive. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to some deeper bass. Okay, I know I'm repeating myself, but you definitely get the best of both worlds. Okay, so we have that snappy bass that's coming off quick, and we also have that really deep bass at like that 40-45 hertz, and it's able to do both at the same time. This woofer sounds, not only is it loud, plays a deep bass, snappy bass, it sounds incredible. I mean, it's really accurate. It's just an overall good sounding subwoofer, so extremely happy with the way that this is performing. All right, so let's go ahead and hit you guys with some test tones. All right, so in this test we got 129.6. We did other tests and we got a little bit higher, but let's just note this as 129.6. Let's go ahead and test some deeper bass notes. Okay, that was 45. Let's just go ahead and try 40. Okay, so that was 40 hertz, and we have 134.9. All right, so let's go deeper. Let's try 35. All right, so at 35 hertz, we have 132 flat. Let's go ahead and go a little bit lower. Let's go with 30 hertz and see what we can get. All right, so at 30, we got 127.7. So that's typical of speakers. The lower you go, the less SPL you're gonna get. All right, but let's go ahead, because it's a 15, let's go ahead and try 25. All right, at 25 hertz, we got 126.5. That's the lowest we're gonna go. This woofer is not an SPL woofer, but I wanted to see how it measured on the SPL meter. I do want to do one more thing. I want to check to see how this works. We've been banging on this thing for like the last half hour or so. So I'm gonna pull the woofer out and see what kind of heat has been generated from it to see if those cooling features are doing the job. All right, so let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, so normally when we're railing on these woofers, it will heat up here, of course. It is not very warm at all, like barely, like not much doing, so that's really good. There is barely any heat on this magnet. I can't say this, but we've done this in the past and we switch woofers out and we put it through that test where we're testing all those low frequencies for a long duration. It will heat up the voice coil like you would not imagine. And this is barely warm. Like it's almost as if maybe we did this test an hour ago and I came back to check it out. So excellent job, Audiomobile. Okay, definitely an impressive woofer. Since 15-inch woofers normally need big ported boxes, but this woofer produces very deep bass that you would expect out of a 15-inch woofer, but is very accurate. Not so common in woofers this size. Now, Audiomobile went to extraordinary lengths to build a hi-fi, low distortion performance woofer. And because heat seriously degrades performance, especially on loudspeakers, they have utilized and developed many heat reduction features. Now, I must admit, at first glance, it's a little on the high side, coming in at $750 each. But if you think about the technology and the design work that went into this woofer, and the fact that no other 15-inch woofer on the market even comes close to what this thing can do, which is again produce deep and accurate sound quality bass in a small enclosure. Plus the fact that it's made of premium materials, well, maybe it's justified. Also, think about this. There are many shallow woofers on the market that retail for a higher price because of the benefit of working in a smaller enclosure. Now take Rockford Fosgate for instance. Their T-Shallow 12-inch versus their standard P312 both handle 600 watts RMS, but the shallow woofer sells for $499 and the standard only goes for $219, more than double. So you're paying for the benefit of it working in a smaller enclosure. Maybe $750 isn't too bad. Personally, this woofer is right up my alley. My preferred woofer size has always been 12s. And in my younger days, where hip hop was my only genre, ported enclosures were my box of choice. And back then, I didn't care how much space the box took. But as I'm getting older, my preference has shifted to sealed because my musical taste has expanded and I want more accurate bass. Plus, I don't want to use more than half of my trunk space for a box. But there's a trade-off. Less bass, but more accurate. But with this 15-inch woofer, I can have the best of both worlds, sound quality and loud. These are a winner in my book. If you value your cargo space and want clean and loud bass, then these can be right up your alley too. For more information on these woofers or to purchase them, there are links in the description below, taking you directly to the product page. Remember, we do have financing available. Simply add to cart, pick a financing option, get approved, and we'll send your gear out to you ASAP. Again, my name is Josh. I'm with Breaker Stereo and Performance. Thanks for watching this review with us, and we'll see you guys next time.